So in so in this video, we're going to be talking about the summer school meal voucher row or sort of argument that's happened with the government being on the wrong side of this. Obviously, with them not actually helping out families with children who are reliant on free school meals, and instead coming up with some BS summer scheme nonsense. And so, first, we'll kick off this video with Rashford is going to get his own video, purely because of the work he's done, and him trying to help out poorer people, as well, and not being one of those guys who's like, I was like you, but look at me now. If I can do it, you can do it. Sort of the Ben Carson type of guy. And so, the footballer asked, think of the children who had their water turned off. And then, so we've got this absolute cretin, Theresa Coffey, saying that water cannot be disconnected, and Labour calling it snarky because it is snarky. This is the same lady who is trying to blame the scientists. So Theresa Coffey blames wrong scientific advice for any government coronavirus mistakes. So instead of actually taking responsibility, she's one of those people who blame others. No doubt one of those people who live off daddy's money. And yeah, not surprised. And so if we actually look into the details, like I said, Rashford will get his own video. So I've got like a billion tabs open. Part of those are for him. Let's do this. So during the Commons debate on the issue, Labour would call it it'd be callous. So basically, before I start, so Rashford tweeting, make the U-turn, so saying like, please, don't do this. During the Commons debate on the issue later, Labour will say it will be callous not to take what they call a small step, because it is a small step. It's not a lot of money, 156 million or however much it is. I'll get the actual number for you in a minute. Isn't that much for central government? It really isn't. And so during the Commons debate, Labour will say it's callous not to take a small step. Transport Secretary Grant Big Man Shapps insisted the government is not turning a blind eye to child poverty during the crisis, and defended its own decision not to extend the voucher scheme. He told BBC Breakfast that the government had been wrapping its arms around people in communities, trying to bear hug them, trying to suffocate them. What's going on? Everything it possibly can to support them, including 20 billion spent on the furlough scheme. So they're saying the furlough scheme is meant to be there just to help poorer people, and it's there to help also lower middle class people as well who have been furloughed. So it's a bit of a stupid point to make. He said Number 10 had given an extra 63 million to local authorities to help children during the pandemic, as well as 129 investment that's already gone to families as part of the process of helping children. So that money's gone, and so we'll get to the numbers in a bit. And there was just one. So we got a quote from Long Bailey, said it was only right for the government to continue the scheme over the summer. Absolutely, she's right. So children don't get hungry and in a position to start learning properly, because if you're hungry, you can't do anything. You can't learn properly. You can't do the job that you've been given. It's much more difficult to do that. Last week, 3 Conservative MPs signed a cross-party letter calling for an extension to the scheme worth £15 for each child per week into the summer holidays. So you got some Conservative MPs who are also saying that this is the wrong thing to do. So we've got this is an interesting one from David Simmons, a Conservative MP. This is a really interesting statement that he made. So we've got David Simmons, the Conservative MP and a member of the Education Select Committee, said Mr Rashford's letter was incredibly powerful, but the school meal scheme, although popular, is a very blunt instrument and it doesn't get to the most vulnerable children. So I found that really interesting, because I would have thought it would do. It would help out, especially the most vulnerable children who need food. That money would go to them. Obviously, you have some dodgy parents who don't spend the money on their kids and spend it on other things. But I found his statement really interesting, because he said, citing figures from the Local Government Association that show a 3 billion shortfall in children's social care sector, he told BBC Radio 4's programme that the pressure is building in the system and there had been a massive increase in the number of children coming into care whose needs must come first. He said the government needed to address significant pressure on the system, so the most vulnerable children in this country, of whom there are tens of thousands, are not left behind. Sonia Basingstoke, who also has 3 teenage children, told BBC Five Live Drive she found herself out of work because of the pandemic and does not start her new job until September. She said she'd be in real trouble without the school vouchers. In the meantime, I'm relying on this £60 I get every fortnight from free school meals to do my food shopping. There are lots of us that found themselves on benefits through no fault of her own. Absolutely, she's right. She's lost her job because of the pandemic. And especially because it takes 5 weeks for universal credit to kick in as well, because it doesn't look like she's been furloughed for some reason. We really are struggling to make ends meet, and I'm not sure too many people understand how difficult it is. Marcus obviously does. And so we've got Gary Lineker also showing his support to Marcus Rashford, and so that's one I'll cover in the Marcus Rashford video. So if we jump to this thing here, this tweet from Peter Stefanovic, who's a really good guy, worth following. So government minister defends government scrapping of free school meal vouchers in July, saying that it's already putting 9 million into holiday activities and food program. These kids don't need holiday activities, yeah, they need food. He failed to mention that this program, this 9 million, will only feed 50,000 of an estimated 3 million kids facing holiday hunger. This is in Britain, yeah, 5th/6th biggest economy, 3 million kids. And this figure is nowhere near enough. And as we from Phil, big man like Phil, a different bias, really worth going on to his YouTube channel, watching his videos as well. He goes, £20 a week, 1.3 million kids, 6 weeks of summer holiday. That's £156 million to deal with this issue. Any figure quoted is less than this is not dealing with the issue. So we can see that for central government, it's not a lot of money, especially since they're wasting money on this project here, where they've spent £108 million of public money to a company to make PPE, which has never made PPE before. And yeah, that's a separate video, but yeah, you can see the government's wasting money. Let's not forget the whole ferry fiasco with Chris the Failing Grayling, where he wasted money that didn't need to be spent. That money would be sure looking handy right now, Chris. And so they're happy to waste money on frivolous activities, but when it comes to spending money on poor kids who need it, 156 million, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. And so if we go to there was a quote from, there it is, yeah. One Tory backbencher forecast an eventual U-turn, government U-turn, he had it. And this is an easy win for the government, who's made massive mistakes during this pandemic. A very easy win here, helping kids that are poor who need food. And the argument is, we've never done this before. Maybe we should start doing this. Maybe we should start doing this, because kids don't go into stasis during the summer. They still need help. So 156 million is not a lot of money for central government. And so I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you can, support Rashford, follow him on Twitter, retweet his stuff. And he'll get a separate video. So, like, comment, share, subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.